Assalamu alaikum, shalom, imhotep, peace, peace to the streets, assalamu Allah to the supreme angels. This is part 2 from yesterday, where we're basically showing the narrative and the timeline of Malcolm X and Imam Worthy Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and the Honorable Brother Minister Silis Muhammad, President Roosevelt, whose power rose up from the sea or the Navy, he was a Navy man, and President Truman, whose power rose up from the land. He was a farmer that eventually dropped the atomic bomb by a Jew, Albert Einstein, on Nippon or Japan, and the role of the dragon or the Pope of Rome as taught directly by the life-giving teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I was sharing with y'all an oldie but a goodie, a book that I wrote 38 years ago. As I'm reading this book, you know, it brought back a lot of memories, you know what I mean? And, you know, one of the things about this particular book, one of the things I want y'all to see something here. I don't know if y'all can see this that clear, but notice that these presidents are master masons. Notice the G. They know that they are gods. The messenger said the white man is the God of America. Jesus put it like this: they are the gods of this world. See, we are spooky. The rich, the 10%, the rich, the slave makers of the poor who teach the poor lies, they are not spooky. We don't understand the reality of God. One of the major things that's holding Black people back is their misunderstanding of Dr. Yaqub Malik Shabazz's law of polarity. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Dr. Yaqub is the one that basically founded the law and codified the law of opposites. Now, I mean, opposites attract and like repel. Now, I mean, he discovered that at the age of 6 by playing with 2 pieces of steel or 2 pieces of lodestone, which is natural meteors inside of some sand at the age of 6. Now, I mean, like, if it's 2022, if, you know, one of the things I used to do as a child, I mean, you could do this yourself. You could, you know, I used to, as a child, I used to take, I've always been scientific, you know, I was always cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I used to take and like I got a little shortwave radio right here, for example. I used to break open these kind of radios, right? And what I used to do is I used to take the speaker and break them open. And inside of them, you'll see you know, they solder it into there, but I used to break the magnet out of the speaker. Now, when I get that magnet, I would take the magnet outside and I would roll it in the dirt. Know what I mean? And when I roll it in the dirt, I notice all these pieces of metal stick to it. Like you go outside right now, just roll a regular magnet inside some dirt. You're going to see all these natural magnets that's already in the earth. You know what I mean? And when I got to studying the science of it, I found that they're lodestones. I mean, they're the magnets that Dr. Yaqub was playing with at the age of 6. If you go to the North Pole of the planet, keep in mind we got an Earth. Now, I mean, she rotates 1,037 1/3 miles per second on her axis, 24,896 miles in her circumference. Now, I mean, but this spinning of the Earth, it's like a generator. Now, I mean, that spinning motion, that friction produces what we call electricity, okay? Now, if you take a piece of iron from the North Pole and a piece of iron from the South Pole, you got 2 rocks, regular rocks. And you know what? They attract to each other. If you turn around and try to push them, they will not go together. They will repel. This is a natural and universal phenomenon. You can find this in the universe. You could go to distant stars and find this still true. You go to the moon, to the planet Platoon, for being 600 million miles away, Pluto, it still applies. Now, I mean, if you take and study, you got some people that actually put magnets on their wrists because of the iron ore in their blood. I mean, it's a pseudoscience to me personally, but some people actually understand this science and they actually feel as though that they magnetically be attracting and repelling, now I mean, the blood corpuscles inside of their body. So these presidents is not like y'all think. Now, I mean, these 10%, the rich, y'all call them 1%ers today. Master Muhammad called them the 10%, the rich, the slave makers of the poor, who teach the poor lies. To believe that the almighty, true, and living God is a spook. Now, I mean, the 10%, the rich, the slave makers of the poor, they are conscious that nowadays we got 7 billion people on the planet approximately. Now, I mean, and they have a vested interest in keeping them asleep. Why? The moment they wake up, the moment they wake up, the moment we wake up, the moment you wake up, the moment we unite. See, they want us divided like, oh, he's Christian, he's atheist, he's black, he's white, he's straight, he's gay, he's young, he's old, he's rich, and as long as we can, this is Yaqub's teaching. This is the literature that Dr. Yaqub Malik Shabazz gave them on the island of Pelan, Patmos, 25 square mile island. I mean, a volcanic island that burns stuff all up, but it's still ancient remedies there, ancient evidence there, if you will. Now, I mean, but Dr. Yaqub Malik Shabazz taught them, now I mean, how to come into our homes and, you know, gossip. Now, I mean, oh, I heard the neighbor saying this. Now, I mean, we like, what? He slandered me like that? She slandered me? Now they got us disputing with one another, but it's a trick. Now, I mean, not that it's not a whole truth or a half lie, but as long as they get you to believe in the tricknology, they got you. See, that's one of the tricks of what they call today capitalism. See, capitalism is designed like this. They'll tell somebody like Kanye West or Jay-Z or Oprah and all of them, they be like, you're a billionaire. You be like, I am? Yeah. Oh man, I got $1 billion. Oh, okay. Where's my $1 billion? Oh, if you live 1,000 years, you will never in your life see this $1 billion because it's bull crap. What we're going to do is this. We're going to give you this black card or this gold card or this American Express, this Visa, this Master. We're going to give you a piece of plastic and then we're going to give you some integers, some numbers. And this account number is saying that you have $1 billion. You be like, oh, I got $1 billion. Oh, I really do have $1 billion. I could prove it. You go to the jewelry store and be like, let me get that gold chain. Let me get that Ferrari. Let me get that Maybach. Let me get that big house up on the hill. Let me get that mink coat. And you show them your plastic card. It got your name on it. It got your business name on it. They be like, oh, serial number, your mark of the beast. It says 096, whatever number is on there. All right, is it a number on the back? What's the, okay, the pen is 3-4 digit number on the back. All right, okay, what's the expiration date on that card? Okay, the card, all right, this is a legitimate card. Now, I mean, meaning that the 10% is like these spooky ass 85%ers, mentally dead, are so easy to lead in the right direction, but they are not going in the right direction. We got them thinking we got them thinking they are billionaires, but they're not. We gave them a piece of plastic, maybe a couple of pieces of plastic. Maybe we took and went on a color copy. I could go on a color copying machine right now and put $1 on there and Xerox it front and back. You know what I mean? And then it'll come out in color. And because it's only $1, a person be like, oh, damn, this is real. I'll be like, let me get something for Dollar Tree. Let me get some iced tea and a Snickers. I mean, and I get them $5. Now I get them 5 $1 bills, 4 real bills and 1 fake bill. They just gonna put it in the cash register. Because in their brain, they're thinking that fiat money is real money. They believe believe that This is money. But it's not money, family. But this is how the 10% rules the whole planet Earth. So they'll give these black intellectuals, blacks, people who I love and respect, know what I mean? They'll give them these pieces of plastic and say, yeah, this is real money. And you'd be like, okay, well, I want to buy some land. Oh, you want to buy some land? Okay. Obviously, you don't understand human nature. Vikings, pirates, gangsters, real gangsters, the devil, colonizers. We don't buy land. The only way you get land, you got to do it like the Pope. You take that crap. You ain't built like that. So you believe the hype. Okay, cool. Easily the wrong direction. All right, what we're going to do is this. I'm going to take this ink pen from TD Bank and I'm going to sign this here deed, young man. And you know what? Congratulations. You now own X amount of acres of land. You now own all that land. It's a psychological trick. As long as they could get the 85% to believe that those pieces of paper are money, they are money. As long as they could get you to believe that God is in the sky, he's in the sky. As long as they could get you to believe that this month is the month of Christmas, the merchant's going to clean up. They cleaned up Black Friday. They going to clean up on these Walmart, Target. These corporations is cracking up all the way to the bank. They like, oh, these 85% is so easy to see. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Know what I mean? And know what I mean? They forget governments can be overthrown. Governments fall. Ancient Kemet, Black Egypt. Where's it at now? It fell. I mean, ancient Greece, where's it at now? It fell. Ancient Rome, it fell. Palestine, Iraq, Babylon, Persia, ancient Iran was full of great gods. You know what I mean? It's going now. I mean, the Akhenaten, they're going now. They're dead. I mean, be like, what? See, this is how corporations are. This is how the 10% continue to rule. They'd be like, man, we don't care if y'all have Nat Turner, Marvizi, Marcus Garvey, Don Elijah Muhammad, Massafar Muhammad, Father-in-law. They like, after all of them, we still got y'all strung out on drugs. Young boys killing each other in the street. Y'all still broke. Y'all still landless. Y'all still don't have a national identity. Y'all still ain't taking over the planet Earth because these corporations are the rich, the slave makers of the poor who teach the poor lies. The 85%, the mentally dead, who do not believe in that the 5% is really trying to teach them the truth because we don't have the fancy cars and all that crap. They like, oh, y'all poor righteous teachers. Y'all broke. Now, I mean, we ain't listening to no broke ass jokers. Now, I mean, be like, you don't have 1 million views. You don't have diamond platinum jewelry and all that kind of stuff. Now, I mean, you know, they on the tip like, nah, we want to listen to the magicians, the warlocks, the witches. I mean, we want to listen to the tricknology. We take tricknology over real knowledge. I mean, so the 85% is still grappling with that, struggling with that. And the 5%, the poor righteous teachers, we're still active in the struggle. I mean, but the thing about it, we suffer so much hardship trying to wake y'all up. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? Because you gotta be God. I mean, you gotta be careful how you deliver the message because the people are so easy to lead in the wrong direction. They talking about the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. They're talking about the Honorable Silis Muhammad. Oh, they talking about the Father. And we're trying to empower you. We like, listen, we love all of it. Man, if it's black, I'm with that, first of all. Now, I mean, my thing is like, listen, do not be stupid and follow me. Do not be spooky and follow anybody. You don't need no temples, mosques. See, that hurts people. That's the only way they pay that bill. So I understand why they got issues with this kind of teachings. But it's the messenger's message that will guide you through this age of mess. See, this is the thing they can't take away from you. I'm telling you where the messenger said it. 1972, Elijah meets the press, interview in his house. He told you that after him, there will be no more local mosques. There'll be none of that. No, not ran like it is now in the 1972 with local temples or mosques. He's like, no, 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 no. That stuff is over with. You will be God over your own home. I don't know about you. I ain't in my bedroom. I'm in one of my bedrooms in my own home because I'm following the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. I mean, I ain't working with no mystery God. Know what I mean? My thing is, I protect my home. Ain't no mystery God. So you got to understand the messenger teachings is peace of mind and contentment, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life. But your real money is not the devil's fiat money. What you want to strive for. Let me tell y'all a jewel from the land about the future. Now, I mean, something that didn't happen yet, that's going to happen, and I want y'all to see this video right now, decades before it even happened. There's going to come a time, the message to put it like this, I'm paraphrasing. The message explained that there will come a time when people will come to your house, knock on your door. You just can't knock. You know, I got the security joints. I see you from, if you come on my block, I see you driving down the road. But the message like, you come to the door, ring the bell, whatever. And he said, when you open up the door, they're going to pour diamonds and gold at your feet because they ain't going to have no fiat money. They're going to pour diamonds and gold at your feet. And they're going to be like, listen, I'll give you all this. I don't want you to teach me. Just teach my people. Meaning that the messenger thing is, real riches is the truth. They're going to seek peace so much, they're going to be willing to give up all them cars, all them houses, all them fly girls, all them fly guys, all that hoopla, all that bull crap. They're going to be like, man, I want knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I want the truth. I need to be able to maintain peace of mind and contentment. I need that sakeen, that inner peace. That's how powerful the teachings of Elijah Muhammad is going to become. Men like this, they played and hit it. This is, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of tiny. It's probably, where is it? Right here. But this picture right here is from New York City, and it's dated 1931. You know what I mean? But you can clearly see the God or the G in him in his Masonic or Mason Masonic gear. You can see the other president. You see the G up there? These jokers wasn't asleep. The messenger said the devil's not the fool, you the fool. Our people's mentally dead. They not mentally dead. They know the time and what must be done. You know what I mean? Now, the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, this is the COINTELPRO facts. This is what J. Edgar Hoover revealed later on. Nobody really understood the technology of how they was doing it, but they found out later. But for some reason, they rocked us to sleep and we forgot the technology they was using on our people. Short version. J. Edgar Hoover was like, we got to stop the Nation of Islam. We got to destroy the Nation of Islam. J. Edgar Hoover and his right-hand man from 30 years, J.P. Sullivan, they was like, how is we going to destroy the Nation of Islam? He's like, well, we really ain't got to worry about Elijah Muhammad. He's kind of old now. Now, I mean, you know, basically they was like, if we kill him, FOI is going to go crazy. Now, I mean, you know, you heard the messenger, you heard Minister Farrakhan. We going all out, baby. I mean, we going all out. So they know that. So that, all right, we can't do that. You know what I mean? So they're like, dang. You know what I mean? They tried everything. Poisons, slander, divisions, hypocrites, you name it. They like, this darn nation's still here. You know what I mean? So they was like, we got it. The government came up with a way to destroy the Nation of Islam. They said, we got to take, he said, Elijah, this is their language, I'm quoting them. Elijah Muhammad's gimmick is in teaching that the black man is a divinity, teaching that the black man is God. They said, we got to stop that kind of teaching in the Nation of Islam and make them start teaching about self-help and community development. That's the government's COINTELPRO documentation. They want the Nation of Islam to stop teaching the black man is God, stop teaching them lessons, and get the Nation of Islam to start teaching economics and fiat money, bullcrap money, the dying dollar, the same crap the messenger was like, yo, don't fall for that crap. The pump and the glitter. Now, I mean, what is the pump and the glitter? The pump and the glitter is the fame and the fortune of America, capitalism. Now, I mean, you know, the message like, yo, don't do that. Don't y'all set up that golden cow in the Nation of Islam. But what did we do? Set up the golden cow. Oh, the almighty dollar. Oh, the lottery tickets. Oh, sex, drugs, liquor, cars, mansions, fur coats. Wallace even I was correct on a lot of stuff. And one of the things he explained, he's like, man, the nation, you got brothers coming to services. They got the alligator boots with the mink bow ties on their shoes. Know what I mean? But the brothers that's doing that is coming in a temple that's dilapidated. They coming in a temple where other brothers got their hills ran over. Can't even pay. They got mice and rats running around that dirty apartment. They can't even pay that car note on that raggedy car with 1,000 torn years on it. Know what I mean? So it was like the have and the have-nots, classism, sexism, and racism inside the Nation of Islam. I mean, yeah, there ain't nothing spooky about it. Know what I mean? So Wallace is going to be able to come in because the government was like, we have to stop the Nation of Islam teaching that the black man is God. That's what the devil, I wrote it's like a 300-400 page book on it called COINTELPRO, How to Counterintelligence. Know what I mean? You know, it's a book to give you an idea that this how you know you teaching the message of teachings. I'm in Pennsylvania. Anybody that was in the Bella Beast will tell you it was like 20 penitentiaries in Pennsylvania. If you was found with that book written by me, you was considered a terrorist. Yeah. The FBI, like I'm looking at y'all now. On my right was the FBI. In the middle was the CIA. And on the left was the IRS. I'm sitting there bald head, shackled all up, chained all up like a slave. I mean, you know, and these devils is like, now give them that credit. When they first came, these devils was like, it was like, they had the old white boy, FBI boy, and they had the young black FBI boy. So they, you know, good guy, bad cop. You know what I mean? But, you know, I'm from North Philly. We ain't no rap. You know what I mean? We ain't doing no telling. We ain't playing no games either. My thing was they had me in a hole for 2 years. So I'm like, yo, but the whole time they not telling me why I'm in a hole. I'm gonna dig off. Wait till I already dug out the ancient files. So wait till y'all see the real deal stuff. That I'm gonna be like, damn. I mean, we on some extreme next level stuff. You know what I mean? You know, but they was basically on the tip like, look, we know you're not a terrorist. He told me to my face, I read all your stuff. He said, actually, I'm impressed. He said, you know what I mean? I like this stuff. You know what I mean? But you up here in these mountains with these hillbillies, you scaring them. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, but you gonna let me out this damn hole? I'm trying to make some moves. I'm trying to teach. I mean, I got some more literature to write. I got to build. Y'all got me wrapped up like a mummy. So he's like, listen, we're gonna let them know our investigation is over. So it's gonna be up to them. Long story short, they did a fair thing. Now I mean, they basically kicked me out, sent me up, where did I go from there? I went from there, they kicked me, sent me to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, got to Pittsburgh, they kicked me out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, sent me up Dallas, Pennsylvania, and I eventually came home. Now I mean, so I'm fighting these devils every inch of the way. Know what I mean? Uncompromising fighting these devils on every level. Know what I mean? So that they on the tip, like, you got to understand your teachings is a threat to national security because you're teaching the black man is God, but in a way that people really are going to believe that. And you have to understand, young man, if people believe that the black man is God, what happens with Hajj, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter? What happens? Do you understand how many millions of people are employed around the world? Do you understand how much money is made in Jerusalem and in Mecca and around the world from religious festivals and Buddhism and Hinduism and Judaism? You know how many people go to the Wailing Wall? You know what I mean? You know how many airplane tickets and whole, do you have any idea of how many trillions of dollars you're effing up? And I'm on the tip like, we've been waiting 66 trillion years for this day. I will give all I have and all in my power to see this day for which I have been waiting 379 years, just like my messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm going to teach. I mean, y'all could kill me. Y'all could take me like Paul, crucify me upside down. That's all in small price. You know what I mean? My life, my death, my sacrifice is all for Allah. It's like that's a small price to pay for waking our people up. I'm with that. I mean, I'm down. Now, I mean, let's get it. Now, I mean, but we had a I would say a respectful and peaceful and mutual understanding. Like, you be your way, to me be mine. You stay out my way, I'm gonna stay out yours. I'm gonna do me, y'all do y'all. Whatever, you know what I mean? Y'all do y'all thing. You know what I mean? So that's all in it. You know what I mean? Now, Wallace, Imam Warfdi Muhammad, a man who I got the utmost respect for, but a man whom, when it come to theology, to me, was the goddamn Antichrist. Hands down. I'm not talking about Wallace. I'm talking about Imam Warfdi Muhammad after 1970, before 1970, what he did intentionally against his father. You know what I mean? And he really didn't understand. He was a pawn in the big chessboard of things. You know what I mean? Like he didn't understand his dad. He looking at it, really, it's like, people be surprised like how petty stuff could be. People get crazy over petty stuff. Now, I mean, they feel as though you insulted them some kind of way. And you be like, I didn't even know. What are you talking about? Now, I mean, but they stay in that brain. They're so caught up in the devil's tricknology that they simply just easily lead in the wrong direction. That's why the Holy Quran say, why do you think better of your brother? Now, I mean, why do you think better of your papa, your father? Now, I mean, so Wallace was looking at it from his perspective. And he had a legitimate grievance, if you will. But the short version is, the messenger spent all this money helping Muhammad Ali, because the messenger looking at it like, when Ali was boxing and all that, Ali put a lot of money in the Nation of Islam. He helped raise a lot of believers. He did a lot for the Nation of Islam. His son Herbert did a lot of greasy stuff with Muhammad Ali. But Muhammad, it's all power. It's all in the struggle. You know what I mean? Ali benefited from Herbert Muhammad, Jabir Muhammad, and vice versa. Everybody gonna eat, B. You know what I mean? And his son Wallace felt as though his dad didn't do all that for him. His dad a humble man. He ain't gonna tell his son the raw truth. Like, you ain't bringing no money in like no darn Muhammad Ali. You ain't raising the dead like the world heavyweight champion. Come on, man. I ain't spending all that money. The nation be bankrupt. Know what I mean? So the Lamb, he was a practical man. He was a realist. Know what I mean? The realist. Know what I mean? So we're going to look at how these prophecies unfolded. Yesterday we showed you the correlation between Farrakhan and Silis, President Roosevelt and President Truman, the Pope of Rome, and the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Honorable Brother Minister Silis Muhammad. Now, we're going to page number 24 of the book, The Theology of Revelation, chapter 13. Okay. For those that would like to download the book, you can download the book. I'm guessing right now off the top of my head, I believe we have a website, supremeangels.org, but you can order it through our secretary, through the NAAL Institute. NAAL basically means, that's an FOI name, Nazir Law that physically died. And we started a nonprofit in his name. I'm Alif, he's Nazir, so it's NAAL, NAAL Institute. It's for educational purposes. The NAAL Institute Incorporated, a nonprofit, so I don't make money off of this, not me. But you can order the book for $10 and you'll get it in 24 hours as a download straight to your email. Okay, so here's what Revelation chapter 13, verse 11 says. Revelation, this is page 23, actually. Revelation chapter 13, verse 10 reveals that only the angels, meaning the saints of the nation of Islam, will be strong enough to have patience and remain faithful to only messenger Elijah Muhammad. The vast majority began to doubt the messenger. This naturally caused them to doubt his message. See, this is the trick of COINTELPRO, counterintelligence program. Their thing is they get what Master Farrakhan Muhammad calls the devil's imps. Master Muhammad called them imps in the 1930s. Why did he call them imps? He called them imps because they were impersonators. See, they had crack bow ties on, FOI uniform, you know what I mean? They looked cracked and stern. It's mighty, FOI. Crack garbs on, MGTs. But they were really working with the police. See, people don't understand the science of this. You know what I mean? See, the angels, we know how to move. We know how to, you know what I mean? People, we like underestimation and doubt. You know what I mean? So we'll take and make a move. We'll be like, okay, I learned this from Brother 30X, Supreme Minister Salim Mahdi Saddam, Willie 30X Clayton of the Nation of Islam, former lieutenant of the Brother Minister Jeremiah Shabazz at Temple number 12, tick-tock, top of the clock. Now, I mean, it explains, he said, brother, this one, my name is Elisha. Brother Elisha, this is what you do. You tell a FOI some information unique to that FOI. Then you write it down in your logbook, the date and time that you told him or her. And then you wait until it leaks out. Now, you only told one person. So when it comes out, you know where it came from. So when I took and filed discovery and all that, the devil being the devil like, oh shit, we ain't getting sued. This joker put a $12 million joint on us. Boom, here's everything. So I'm like, this is the, not the good brother, not the good sister. Yeah, rats. I mean, that's how that Turner them. That's how it always be. So you would be thinking like, oh, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his biological son wouldn't betray his father. He's not going to go with the government against his own father. He was born FOI. We're going to see what Master Muhammad had to say about this in prophecy. See, when you understand prophecy, I mean, it's a good thing. It gets greater later. We're just starting right now. Revelation chapter 13, verse 10 explains that the vast majority began to doubt the messenger. This naturally caused them to doubt his message. See, the thing is, by Imam Wafdi Muhammad whispering in Malcolm's ear and Malcolm whispering in Farrakhan's ear, but Farrakhan ain't going for it. Farrakhan, whoa, no. The Muslim season knows Muslim man, let him correct his brother Muslim. Farrakhan was a man of strict power. He knew his lessons. He went to the messenger. They like, oh, damn, we got to get Lewis. He going to mess the whole joint. Farrakhan, like, I love the line. I mean, Farrakhan, I'm riding with the messenger. I'm flying to dine with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That messed up the COINTEL. Y'all don't know. That messed up J. Edgar Hoover and them whole joint. His faith and his love, even though it was just a tiny little mustard seed. That was sufficient, Khan. Thank you, brother. You held the nation together with that. Now, I mean, so the devil plot, when they spewed all that flood, the earth swallowed it up. And they like, damn, the lamb's still here? What the heck? Damn it. I mean? Now let's look at these prophecies. Revelation chapter 13, verse 11 says this. Listen carefully. And I beheld another beast. Not the other beast, not the Malcolm stuff. Now the nation of Islam has another beast. Listen up. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb. Now, what is down, Elijah Muhammad? The Lamb of God. I mean, the black sheep. I mean, here is someone coming up in the nation of Islam. They got two horns. They got authority like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But look at it carefully. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. Here you got the leader of the Nation of Islam, Imam Worth D. Muhammad, then Supreme Minister Wallace D. Muhammad. He's at Savior's Day. He got an FOI uniform on. WF Muhammad on his initials, both. See, that stuff don't mean nothing if it's not in here. I mean, if it's not in here. I mean, so here he is. In his head, he knows they're going to destroy their father and destroy their father's work. Now, I mean, now, Brother Minister Jeremiah Shabazz, he used to come see me. I mean, you know, Brother Minister Jeremiah Shabazz explained to my face, like, listen, man, because I used to get on him about some stuff. You know what I mean? Like, yo, what you go with that joker for? He like, man, you know how Philly is. You know what I mean? It was like, man, there's some real street stuff jumping off for real, for real. A lot of people don't understand. It wasn't nothing spooky. You know what I mean? That FOI, you look at Savior's Day, people look at the beautiful speakers, Farrakhan. No, look past all that. You see that big FOI in the back with the little suitcases? He's like, brother, listen, man, I ain't even going to get into what's in them suitcases. Know what I mean? But there are those that know. Know what I mean? And those that say don't know. And those that know don't say. Know what I mean? But there was a dragon, like the power of the Pope of Rome, in the Nation of Islam, sitting on the throne, sitting on Messenger Elijah Muhammad's seat. The national representative, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, is the one that's supposed to be the officer of the day. He's supposed to naturally that's general orders. But these gangsters, I mean, they there for real. And they have Malcolm X you. I mean, so that thing's like, listen. So now you got a political dilemma. They stole the money. At the time, Muhammad Ali gave so much money to Jabir Herbert Muhammad. He eating. I mean, he that dude in the Nation of Islam. Money, power. Now, I mean, it's a capitalist system. You got those working with those folks. Now, I mean, so they on the tip like, man, we ready to shut the messenger stuff down. I mean, now, the average person like, oh, you should do this. You should have stood up. You should have sat on the stone. That's what Silis Muhammad's beef was. Silis was like, why didn't you take his seat? Why didn't you sit on his throne? That's a true and legitimate argument. But you cannot honestly and righteously condemn a believer for doing what was written before they was born. It's like somebody saying, why did you make the devil, Yaqub? Yaqub, like, I really don't know. I mean, like, 8,400 years before I was born, the scientists wrote that, yeah, he going to graft the dust, ain't going to be Yaqub, the changer. I mean, Shabazz, the godly, the godlike. Now, I mean, so so when you have in prophecy that Aaron is going to follow Samaria. Now, I mean, that Moses is going to grab Aaron by his beard, be like, yo, why did you stick with the teachings? I mean, if you see that in the Quran and then see it in life, you're supposed to be like, oh, damn, Khan really is fulfilling prophecy. If you see if you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, his Gospels and all that, and you see this guy named Peter in the Bible, and, you know what I mean, the woman like, yo, He was with him. That's one of his followers right there. Peter, like, I don't know that man. I wasn't with him. Yes, you was. I mean, you're the first apostle. He's like, no, I don't know that. I don't mess with the messenger teachers like that. And he denied his Lord. Now, keep in mind, Jesus told him he was going to do that. Jesus knew it. Jesus never said, Peter, you're going to be a hypocrite. Jesus on the tip, like, listen, man, I'm praying that your faith don't fail you all the way. I'm hoping that you be able to get back on point because I'm going to need you in the crutch. Now, I mean, we're going to need you to say this thing. Everything going to be resting on you, Peter. You're not the rock. Down below, Muhammad said, not a lot of people don't understand it. The message said, and now says, right, he said, if Peter was the rock, or if Peter's faith was sufficient, then why is we still looking at the church like it is right now in 2022, basically? I mean, it's like, nah, see, people don't understand the word rock. A lot of people think that it says Peter, but the actual word says Petra. I mean, meaning that Jesus is the foundation. Down below, Muhammad is the foundation. The foundation is 12. 12 represents 144 to 144,000. Now, I mean, they will be the stars. They will be not the only fruit. The scripture says they'll be the first fruits are redeemed from amongst the mentally dead. Now, I mean, so it's a lot of misunderstanding in the nation of Islam. And this is why you see what's going on. That's why people are like, oh, Scientology, oh, this, that, and the other. Well, why this? Farrakhan is doing 1,000% what Master Farrakhan Muhammad and his first, last, and only messenger, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, want him to do. He can't help himself. I don't care what he thinks, what he do. It'll always come out the will of Allah, who came in the person of the Master Farrakhan Muhammad, to whom all praises due forever. Now, a lot of people don't understand that science. A lot of people don't understand the will of Allah because they put in their will, their individual wills, instead of the collective will of Allah, who came to person Master Farrakhan Muhammad out front. And that's why you can't understand it. That's why it seems like he's a hypocrite or he's a disbeliever, or it's like, nah, he's the high priest for real, for real. You know what I mean? And I don't, keep in mind, Farrakhan is not telling me to say none of it. He never told me to say anything. I'm not saying none of this. I've never been a quote-unquote follower of the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. I never followed Silis. I never registered and got my ex with the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. I never registered and got my ex with Silis Muhammad. I always been strictly 100% student follower of Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Period. I mean, but I understand that Farrakhan has a role to play. Silis has a role to play. And we're going to get into that. So, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. 6,670 years ago, keep in mind this was written back in 1980. I wrote this 38 years ago. So this 6,670 years ago, Dr. Yaqub Malik Shabazz saw yet another beast, Wallace D., the blood son of Messenger Elijah Muhammad, while on the island of Pelan, which is off the coast of Greece. Unlike Malcolm, Wallace never believed that God was man and man was God. See, Malcolm believed the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He loved the Honorable Elijah. He believed the black man was God. He believed the white man was the devil. COINTELPRO planted seeds of sedition and division in his subconsciousness, and he fulfilled prophecy. Okay. Wallace D. is reported to have caused the messenger to physically cry as he revealed that he never believed that a law came in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad, to whom all praises due forever. Theologically, we cannot say that Wallace D. rose up from the sea, meaning the nation of Islam. Malcolm, the first beast, did believe yet disbelieve. Wallace never believed. He was a lip professor. Wallace D. intentionally planned to take the crown of his father and remove his father as last messenger to replace him with the last prophet Muhammad of Arabia, and to remove the seen law, perfect people, for an unseen law, mental idea. So Wallace, Imam Worthy Muhammad, respectfully, he thought that he could be a small fish in a big pond instead of a big fish in a small pond. He thought that bringing in Orthodox Islam would actually help the nation of Islam. Now, at the time, you had a lot of chaos going on in the nation's life, a lot of drama, a lot of politics, a lot of bitter or confusion going on, a lot of COINTELPRO forces operating all around. So Wallace did what was in his heart. Okay. And to remove the seen of law, perfect people for an unseen of law, mental idea. Rather than travel to see the living angels at Savior's Day, Wallace D. willed that we travel over the oceans to run around a rock. Rather than teach that the white race was the devil regardless of place or time, Wallace D. desired that we travel to Mecca, Arabia, and throw little stones at a big white stone to seek refuge from the devil. Wallace D. gave us religion over reality, symbols over science. The nation's history shows and proves that Wallace D., the second beast, rose up from the earth, mentally dead level of Arabic Islam or the old Islam, as interpreted by the European colonizer of Arabia. Very few lambs grow horns. Some do, but not many. Very few lambs grow horns, but many goats grow horns. The message teaches us, he said, one of the ways you could tell one of his followers that turn hypocrite, the first thing they do, they grow hair on their face. They grow a beard or a goatee. See, Malcolm grew a goatee, he grew a beard. See, the goat, the devil, he has a goatee. So it's a science to that. You listen to the Supreme and Salim used to tell you, just listen carefully to how they talk. Assalamu alaikum. The S words is like real pronounced, like, oh damn. So Supreme Angel, we used to just be standing around in the cipher, like, looking at each other like, yeah, this dude here working with the police. I mean, and we smiling. Yes, sir, bro. Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, sir. Yeah, all right. Handle that. I mean, okay, let us move on. Wallace D. gave us religion over reality, symbols over science. The nation's history shows and proves that Wallace D., the second beast, rose up from the earth, mentally dead level of the old Islam, as interpreted by the European colonizer of Arabia. Very few lambs grow horns, but many goats grow horns. The goat with the horn pretended to be the new lamb of God, but was actually a goat or rebel. Wallace D. claimed to be Jesus, the Christ, the Mahdi, the Reformer, the Supreme Minister, and yes, God himself. Now here's Wallace saying Master Muhammad is shirk for teaching that Allah came to person master, but he himself was teaching people that he was Jesus. They actually had pictures of Wallace on crosses with the crown of Jesus, like he's crucified and all that kind of, like he's Jesus. Now, I mean, he wanted his daddy's shoes. He wanted to take over the nation of Islam. Now, I mean, a lot of people want to take over the nation of Islam. All right. Wallace D. claimed to be Jesus, the Christ, the Mahdi, the Reformer, the Supreme Minister, and yes, God himself. Wallace D. was not eloquent like Malcolm, but Wallace D. was heavier than Malcolm. Let us reflect on our lessons. I'm going to quote a lesson. This is from Prophet W.D. Farr in the 99 Actual Facts, number 28. Now, a lot of spooky fruit be like, that's from Muhammad didn't have 99 Actual Facts. If you read Message of the Black Man, the Problem Book, listen to the message, they're quoting using the 99 Actual Facts. That's where they get the mathematics from. They're not in no lessons. So you got to understand, you have what's called actual facts. Ain't no number. You notice all the lessons got numbers, but actual facts don't have no numbers on. I wrote the elaboration of Allah's lessons 20 years ago. Give you the formulas, the Arabic, the Hebrew, the scriptures, the Quran, whatever. Know what I mean? So I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. Know what I mean? The 99 actual facts are real. All right, they're from Master Farrakhan Muhammad. All right. 1 cubic foot of common earth weighs 80 pounds. 99 Actual Facts number 98 by Prophet W.D. Farr. 1 cubic foot of water weighs 62.5 pounds. 99 Actual Facts number 44 by Prophet W. Farr. The first beast derived power from the sea. Teachings, Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. The second beast derived power from the earth. Falsehood, Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. Physically and spiritually, earth, land is heavier than water or sea. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us, quote, the earth is approximately covered under water, approximately 3/4 of its surface. Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2, section 8, answered by Messenger Elijah Muhammad, February 20th, 1934. The first beast rose from the sea, water or wisdom of Messenger Elijah Muhammad. The second beast rose from the earth, land or Eurocentric interpretation of the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad of 1400 years ago. 70% of the cycle of water or world is water and 30% is land. The prophecy was that the first beast would rise from the water, then after the rise of the first beast, the second beast would rise. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us in his divine sayings the following, quote, "If land is to make its appearance, it must be made from water." This 70% water also relates to the mindset of the Nation of Islam. The messenger said this in Message to the Black Man in America, page 111, quote, "According to the word of Allah to me, Mr. Yaqub was seen by the 23 scientists of the Black nation over 15,000 years ago. They predicted that in the year 8,400, that was in our calendar year before this world of the white race, this man, Yaqub, would be born 20 miles from the present holy city, Mecca, Arabia. 20 miles from the holy city, Mecca, is Jeddah. Jeddah means goddess, grandma. Now, I mean, that's the city of Jeddah. Jeddah, you notice you won't find Mecca beyond Prophet Muhammad, but you'll find Jeddah. Now, I mean, okay, we have a science there. And at the time of his birth, the satisfaction and dissatisfaction of the people would be, quote, 70% satisfied and 30% dissatisfied. Mr. Yaqub was naturally born out of the 30% dissatisfied. As we know, wherever there's a longing or demand for a change, nature will produce that man who will bring it about. Message to the Black Man in America, page 111, by Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Your Honors, please keep in mind that these two beasts, Malcolm followed by Wallace, worked together to destroy Messenger Elijah Muhammad and did cause the vast majority of the believers to be tricked into Orthodox Islam. See, Malcolm went into Orthodox Islam first. Malcolm went into the Organization of Afro-American Unity, Sunni Islam, first. Then years later, with that example, Imam Wafdi Muhammad at Savior's Day, wearing an FOI uniform, he already was a Sunni. When he came to Savior's Day, he already did not believe in Master Farrakhan Muhammad. He did not believe that Honorable Elijah Muhammad was the messenger. But he used words like master and, Master Elijah Muhammad and Professor Fard and all this other stuff to try to make you think he still believed as we believe. But when you listen to that language, they talking about a law in us and they talking about this God separate from the black man. That is extreme spookism, according to the Honorable. That's an insult to Master Farrakhan. Like, after all this teaching, y'all still putting up an idol God? Come on. After everything, you know how long the 24 scientists and the angels of Allah worked to resurrect the mentally dead? And here we are, after knowing. It's like a dog returning to his vomit. It's like taking these jewels, casting your pearls amongst the swine. It's like, for real? Y'all let Wallace in 1975 make y'all put down your lessons? I'm from Philadelphia. My aunt was the lieutenant of the MGT GCC of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in Philadelphia at the headquarters at Temple Number 12 under Minister Jeremiah Shabazz. And I got the actual pictures, like, they're at the Civic Center. In the Civic Center, I see it's a giant American flag. This dude put the American flag up with the Quran flag, with the Quran on the other side. And his thing was like, we're Americans. I'm like, what? Ain't you the son? It's like Dr. Khalid's son dethroning his dad or something. It's like, come on. That hurts. I mean, let us go on. Your Honors. And I say Your Honors because, keep in mind, this originally was a letter to the Honorable Minister Farrakhan and the Honorable Silis Muhammad. Your Honors, please keep in mind that these two beasts, Malcolm followed by Wallace, worked together to destroy Messenger Elijah Muhammad and did cause the vast majority of believers to be tricked into Orthodox Islam. An elementary reflection and present-day inspection will show and prove that the old Islam did not improve the quality and quantity of the believers. It weakened them. By teaching them to wait until they physically died to get heaven under the divine teachings of Messenger Elijah Muhammad, they knew what made rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes. Now they think an unseen angel, Mikhail, is flapping his wings and crying to make rain. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us that angels are not spooks. Remember what he said. I'm going to quote him. Revelation chapter 14, verse 6. The angel that the prophet saw fly in the midst of heaven is not to be taken as a spirit being. For the law has taught me that this angel is a human being, flying in an airplane with a mission to give the people the last warnings, which will be in small pamphlet form. Beast, the old serpent, the devil and Satan. Revelation chapter 18, verse 4, by Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm, the first beast, did rise from the water, and Wallace did rise from the land. Malcolm was physically buried in the land, and Wallace was spiritually drowned by the water. Messenger Elijah Muhammad did not want either Malcolm or Wallace his blood son, physically killed. The messenger said this, I'm going to quote him. I'm not going to shoot my son. I'm not going to cut my son's throat. But I know when I tell him to walk out of here, that his throat, he would have been glad that I had sliced it. As it is written, on the outside is gnashing of teeth. God has taught me this. He said, put him out. I will take care of him. Savior's Day, February 26, 1965, by Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm rose from the sea, water, and Wallace rose from the land, earth. Just one angel was enough to place his feet on both the water and the land. The messenger said this, and I'm quoting him. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth, and cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roareth. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. The messenger warned us in 1972 in the Theology of Time. He said, stop pointing out the angels of Allah, because when you point out the angels of Allah, you point them out to the devil, and they can be killed. They're men, they're women, they're human beings. There are ops that's out there really trying to kill some brothers and sisters. Y'all don't understand that. All right. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lift up his hand to heaven and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things therein are, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, and there should be time no longer. And in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished. The mystery of God is not finished, but it should be finished. This is how plain the truth is. Now, I mean, the mystery of God should be finished, as he have declared to his servants, the prophets. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, go and take the little book, which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. You better order that little book. Give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, study it, piece it apart, and it shall make thy belly bitter. You're not going to be able to digest some of this stuff. You ain't going to be able to, you know what I mean? You can swallow it, but it's going to tear your insides out when you go into it. All right. But it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Bible, Revelation chapter 10, verses. A lot of people going to try to bite this. You know, they just take the old literature, get the quotes from the messenger, and just try to go out and spook it all up. But when you swallow the raw teaching, when you get that cam literature, most of y'all ain't going to be able to digest that. Wallace the second beast of Revelation chapter 13, did not have power over the student files of Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm did. Malcolm was the minister's minister. Wallace attracted all those who were not studying or learning their lessons, those who really still believed in a mystery God, an unseen spirit only God, that no one could see until he or she was physically dead and gone. This seals that fate, for the physically dead is never known to return from the physical grave. Wallace was taught and trained in the East. He was born for his mission. He used Arabic to trick out people like the slave maker John Hawkins used Arabic to trick out people in Syria back in 1535. Malcolm claimed that he saw Master Fard Muhammad in his prison cell, and Wallace D claimed that his name was given and placed on the back door of his father's house before he, Wallace D, was physically born. In Malcolm's autobiography, to Alex Ellis, told to Alex Ellis, he explained that when he was in the penitentiary, he felt the presence, he looked, and Master Muhammad was in his jail cell. Now keep in mind, this is before he became this famous minister of the Nation of Islam. He said Master Muhammad came to him in jail. Imam Warfdeen Muhammad, Sister Claire Muhammad, she had stomach cancer. Master Muhammad like, yo, your wife is pregnant. I'm like, pregnant? What are you talking about? I mean, your wife is pregnant. She's going to have a baby. It's going to be a boy. And he put his name, W.D. Muhammad, on the back door of the messenger house. He's like, listen, your son going to come in that front door a believer. He's going to go out that back door a disbeliever. In 1933, Master Fard Muhammad changed his name from W.D. Muhammad to W.F. Muhammad. Fard, obligatory. In 1933, Imam Warfdeen Muhammad, Wallace D, was born. In 1933, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was born. Let us move on, fam. Wallace D was taught and trained in the East. He was born for his mission. He used Arabic to trick out people like the slave maker John Hawkins used Arabic to trick out people in Syria in 1535. Malcolm claimed that he saw Master Fard Muhammad in his prison cell, and Wallace D claimed that his name was given and placed on the back door of his father's house before he, Wallace D, was physically born. Both men made these claims after disbelief was firmly rooted in their minds regarding Master Fard Muhammad, Allah in person. Now, this is important. Malcolm told Alex Helly that he seen Master Fard Muhammad in his jail. So he didn't take that out of his book, even when he hated the message, even when he didn't believe in Master Fard. He didn't believe in the nation. He hated Don Elijah Muhammad. He slandered him all over. The message said he threw mud on his eyes. The message said, I didn't wipe the mud out of my eyes. He ain't say nothing. You don't respond to the bull crap. You want to see who gonna wipe the mud out of his eyes. He said only one person, 1965 Labor's Day tape, he said only one person stood up and wiped the mud out. That was Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan. He said Brother Louis is the only one that did that. That's an important thing. Know what I mean? So, this is the question that is from the Wisdom of Wallace D. Muhammad book. I have the book for those of you that would like to order this from 1975 sometime. Question: what did Master W.D. Fard Muhammad tell your father about you before your birth? And when was this first revealed to you and by whom? This was a historic interview Imam Warfdeen Muhammad is doing. I mean, he's doing the interview. And they asking him about this, you know, like we hear this stuff. Master Muhammad wrote your name on the back door. If he's not God, how did he name you, give you his name in 1933, and then change his name from WD to WF in 1933, and then you're born in 1933, then on May 11th, 1933, Farrakhan born. Like, is this all coincidence? No, the black man is God. Okay. Answer: this is Imam Warfdeen Muhammad's answer, word for word. I couldn't truthfully say who revealed it to me first, but I can only remember my mother, Sister Claire Muhammad, because she kept it before me. She told me that before I was born, while I was growing in her, my name was put on the door, on the back of the door in chalk by Master W.F. Muhammad. He told her and my father that the baby would be a boy. He knew the sex of this child and a helper to his father. He knew Wallace would cleanse the nation of Islam. Keep in mind, if Wallace didn't come in, all them hypocrites, thousands and thousands of hypocrites would still be in the nation of Islam right now, acting like they believe in Master Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad because they getting money. They would have been eating. And can you imagine the nation of Islam not being destroyed? How much money they would be getting in 2020? They would be in charge of hip hop, all that. Fruit would be running the streets, all that. Now, I mean, that all the corruption that you see happening today, I mean, you can't stop something unless you can control it. Fruit would have had the streets. It would have been billions and billions of dollars. Know what I mean? But this is what goes on here. He told her and my father that the baby would be a boy and a helper to his father. I recall also my father telling me many times that he asked for a boy and he was told that he would get a boy. He wanted a boy to help with his work. He was asked to give the promise that if he received a boy, he would let the boy help him in his work. Muhammad speaks March the 21st, 1975. March 21st, 1975, Muhammad Speaks newspaper. First official interview with the Honorable Wallace D. Muhammad, Supreme Minister of the Nation of Islam. It was Wallace D., the second beast of Revelation chapter 13, that came out of the old Islam or Arabic Islam and not, Arabic Islam, the old Islam, and not Al-Jadi Islam or the new Islam. Wallace D looked like the Lamb, Messenger Elijah Muhammad, and spoke like a dragon, a little pope. He was a little dictator over the nation of Islam. Wallace D did not call the national representative, Louis Farrakhan, to come sit on the throne, which is the basic process of our protocol system as taught in our general orders. Wallace D, against the protests of his own nephew, Herbert Muhammad Jr., stole the crown of his father, Messenger Elijah Muhammad, out of fear, envy, ignorance, and confusion. The ministers did not do anything. Silis was safely out of the political arena, being prepared to return and set events into motion that resulted in the salvation of us all. Now, Wallace did what he was doing, and at the time, there was a lot of political stuff with Sister Mashika, the Honorable Silis Muhammad's queen. Now, so he's really out of the mix. I know in his head, he like that. While Silis even published a book, Illuminating the Nation's Line. He explained at that time, he like, man, he got the picture of him up in the bar, he chilling, drinking, he chilling. He like, man, I went back to the grave. But he didn't know that Master Muhammad was using him too, that the 24 scientists wrote about him too. This is why I always supported the Honorable Silis Muhammad. People like, how you going to Silis Muhammad this? Listen, my minister, my supreme minister, Salim Mahdi Saddam, I never forget it. He sent me a letter. He sent a lot of ministers letters. He basically sent letters all over to like 20 camps, to different camps, and basically told us, listen, I want y'all to stop following Minister Louis Farrakhan. He is a false prophet. I want y'all to register and join Silis Muhammad. Now, 99% of the Supreme Angels left Farrakhan camp and went with Silis Muhammad. I wrote him a letter like, what are you talking about? I ain't never was in Farrakhan camp. I love Farrakhan. I followed the message of teachings. I've been in Silis Muhammad camp. And he wrote me back personally. I got plenty of letters from him. But he explained to me, he's like, listen, he's like, Ali, this ain't for you. He said, listen, I know that, Allah got some work for you to do. You do your thing. He was deep with the Supreme Angel stuff. He's like, listen, man, you go ahead and do what you got to do. I don't know what you got to do. You go ahead and do what you got to do. I'm going to support you in whatever you do. And that's what he did. So, he changed my name from Elisha Fard Muhammad to Khalid Alif Muhammad, Cam. And he explained to me the reason he changed my name. He said Khalid means immortal, one who remains or abides. I'm going to dig that letter out one day for y'all and share that with y'all. He explained Alif means one who understands and understands much, and Muhammad means one worthy of praise. As the years progressed, the Nation of Islam, a lot of members of the Nation of Islam started to do another Wallace. They started to go into the Orthodox thing. Prophet Muhammad 1,400 years ago, thoughts of peace be upon us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we had to take counsel amongst ourselves, like, this is slippery slope right here. Because if we rubber stamp this, all these years of teaching the black man is God, it's going to start getting in the gray area. The black and the white meets, where they meet at is always a gray area there. And we can't let the 10% utilize this COINTELPRO stuff and twist it and get our people basically become Orthodox Muslims. So it's like, all right, they was like, I'm AA. They like, what you want us to do? It's like, all right, I'm going to pray on it till Allah came to person Master Farrakhan Muhammad. And Master Farrakhan Muhammad basically put it like this to me. Allah is all of us. Our Savior's Arrived, page number 26. So we published, Our Savior's Day theme was titled, Allah is all of us. So you have all these FOI and MGTs, Muhammad, talking about 1400 years ago, Prophet Muhammad. I mean, we come out, Allah, and the person. So now we turn it up. Master Farrakhan Muhammad, the message said, you read it yourself. Read Our Savior's. I tell you where to go. Our Savior's Arrived, the Messenger, last holy book, this last tome. Our Savior's Arrived, page 26. Page, I believe, 26 and 56. Now, I mean, there's other places in there, but read Our Savior's Arrived. The message say specifically, this thing is like, Master Farrakhan Muhammad is the supreme Allah. He teaches us Allah is all of us. Read 1972 Theology of Time. Elijah Muhammad teaches that he, the messenger, is also Allah. He's not the supreme Allah, Master Farrakhan Muhammad. He's the messenger of that God, but he's a God too. His thing is Allah is all of us. But we have a righteous one, a supreme one that sees and hears that which we can't see and hear. That is he. He's rooted in all of us. Every righteous person is a God. So we don't believe in no mystery God. All right. So we had to make moves to make sure that the nation would never fall again. The message is like, the nation gonna rise, fall, and never fall again, because it's going to be like the stars of heaven, meaning that as opposed to the believers, the FYNMT following a branch or a minister, they themselves going to take root. Now, I mean, you're going to start your own business. You're going to be the temple. You're going to be the mosque. You're going to be the Muhammad speech. You're going to be the final card. You're going to be the minister. You're going to be your own cabinet. You're going to be your own secretary. You're going to be your own treasurer. You're going to do for self. The message said for America, you're going to use the wisdom of Master Farrakhan Muhammad to get rich. That's what you're supposed to be doing to the problem book, number 13. Now, I mean, set yourselves in heaven at once with peace of mind and contentment, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life. Your brothers in the East want to know, what is y'all over there doing for yourself? How's all these mentally deads getting this paper? All these devils, all these mentally deads over here? You got hip-hop billionaires. Why the fruit ain't stepping it up? I mean, it's like, come on. I mean, so we got a challenge today. We got to make it happen. We got to do for self. So Revelation chapter 13, verse 12 says, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Revelation chapter 13, verse 12. Wallace D, the second beast, dismantled the mighty FOI and MGT and dismissed the lessons issued by Allah in person and his messenger. Like Malcolm, Wallace D openly slandered Allah in person. I remember he used to say stuff like, you mean to tell me do Allah fart? I mean, it's like, y'all don't know it. Back in the early 80s, it was so crazy. I remember real incidents like me and some other angels going in Jumar, busting the TV where Wallace was teaching on. I mean, like real wars was jumping off. That's how serious that thing was back then. Now, I mean, because he was real slanderous. Now, I mean, and unlike in this day and time, we didn't play them games. Now, I mean, the message teaches us we live, build, kill, and die for this. Now, I mean, it was real. Muslim respects all people and demands respect for them. You got to kill us. We coming. Now, I mean, we went in Jumar and, I mean, took that idol God down. We dismantled that. Busted up, I mean, all that. Game over. Now, I mean, we ain't gonna play like that. Now, I mean, but let me go on. Wallace D, the second beast, dismantled the mighty FOI and dismissed the lessons issued by Allah in person and his messenger. Like Malcolm, Wallace D openly slandered Allah in person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad, to whom all royal praises are due forever, and his father, Messenger Elijah Muhammad, and mocked the FOI and MGT and even GCC. He exercises all the power of the first beast before him. Malcolm and Wallace were on earth at the same time, in the Nation of Islam at the same time, claim to be followers of Messenger Elijah Muhammad at the same time, full of envy and disbelief at the same time. The only difference is the first beast rose before the second. It was Wallace D who restored Malcolm as a good champion of the Nation of Islam. You see how prophecy is fulfilled? Look at the scriptures. Revelation chapter 13, verse 12. And he exercised all the power of the first beast. Wallace exercised the same authority that Malcolm exercised. Malcolm was the national representative of the Nation of Islam. Wallace took and was in charge, before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. Now, Wallace, the message is like he died a hypocrite. No disrespect. It's not personal. It's business. It's like Malcolm did a whole bunch of good. For his Malcolm X, we love Malcolm X. With his work in that, he was the best FOI we ever could dream of. Love, loyal, utmost respect for Malcolm X. We're only talking about after he got deceived by COINTELPRO. It's like Judas wasn't this evil dude. Judas was a true believer. Judas acted out of haste, but he really believed in Jesus. He just wanted to see Jesus use his power. But it's a deep science here. After the death of Malcolm, Messenger Elijah Muhammad personally did not call him Malcolm X. He called him Malcolm. It's no X there. He's not unknown. He's well known now, the chief hypocrite. Wallace D named the messenger's mosque after the man that rose up from the sea of wisdom and tried to mentally and physically kill him. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us in our restricted laws of Islam, lest for Master Muhammad, do not associate with those in bad stand or out of the temple. The messenger went on to say in the Fall of America, page 96 in 1972, the following, quote, by Messenger Elijah Muhammad. I do not give 2 cents for you following Malcolm. If you want to follow him, you will get divine death and destruction with no one to give you any honor and respect, only the devil whom you serve. The devil sets enemies and hypocrites for you to worship in order to pull you away from me. Revelations chapter 13, verse 13 says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Revelation chapter 13, verse 13. The 85% mentally dead are easily led in the wrong direction, and the masses of our people were fooled into rejecting the messenger for the mess. Malcolm could not rise from the physical grave, but Wallace D, the second beast, rewrote his history and spoon-fed his image to the followers of Messenger Elijah Muhammad in a world that they would shun Allah's last messenger, to the so-called African Americans, and followed the ideas of Malcolm. And since Malcolm was physically dead, the people would be tricked into pledging their allegiance to Wallace D, the second beast of Revelation chapter 13. So here you had the second beast restoring the image of the first beast. So here you had Imam Worthy Muhammad putting Malcolm's name, Masjid Malik al-Shabazz, on the house of Master Muhammad al-Balaj. I'm like, what the Stafford? He putting his picture up in the joint. They putting all these Malcolm X videotapes all over. You see this today. They all over the place. Now, to get you to believe that Malcolm and not the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the nexus and link and cause of our people's mental resurrection. It was a trick of COINTELPRO. It was a carefully planned plot of Satan, the 10%, one whose evil is not confined to themselves alone, but affects the whole world, affects others, according to the messenger. Wallace D is a very wise man, confused in an error, but he, at this time, respected there. Imam Worthy Imam was still physically alive when I wrote this book back in 1984. Wallace D is a very wise man, confused and in error, but he was raised as an FY from the cradle by the messenger of Allah himself. He sat and listened to countless strong teachings and teachers. He could easily send inspiration or fire down, but the fire did not purify the people. It burnt up the reality of self. Revelation chapter 13, verse 14 says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword, and dead live. Revelation chapter 13, verse 14. The people outside the light of Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teachings thought Wallace D was a blessing, a good and special child born for the mission of helping his father and the lost foundation of Islam in the West. Little did they realize some help hurts. Wallace D, like Malcolm, was not all bad. Both had many good insights that would have been of great benefit to our nation if it was not marred by envy, greed, and immaturity. Wallace D reorganized, then disbanded the Nation of Islam. He taught that the white race were our brothers and sisters and that we should remain in America, that we should not wear FOI uniforms, and we should be proud to wear the uniform of America's military, join the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine. He removed our universal flag of Islam and put up the American flag. He is on video slandering his own father and making mockery of his own salvation. Wallace D removed Messenger Elijah Muhammad's name and replaced it with his own. He even claimed to personally know where Master Farrakhan Muhammad, Allah in person, physically lived, and claimed that he goes to visit the old man once a week. Wallace D was praised by the presidents, Congress, and Senate. The mass media lifted his name as the savior of white supremacy. It was a miracle to see a party being held in Messenger Elijah Muhammad's home. They was drinking alcohol, smoking, spooky songs, teaching integration, sporting, and playing in the Messenger house. Wallace D explained that since Malcolm made Hajj or pilgrimage to Mecca, Arabia, he went to heaven somewhere beyond the sun, moon, and stars, and that we should honor Malcolm as a hero rather than a hypocrite, as taught by Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Such foolishness was not uttered prior to the death of Messenger Elijah Muhammad on February 25th, 1975. Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. Wallace D did buck protocol and impersonated a commanding officer of the Nation of Islam. He did not raise the physically dead Malcolm, for the dead is never known to return from the physical grave. But Wallace D did raise the idea of Malcolm, or the image of Malcolm. The image, not the flesh, but the image of Malcolm was pulled from the mental grave. No spook god did it. Wallace D, the blood son of Messenger Elijah Muhammad, did it. The image of Malcolm is seen in film and on TV and heard over radio waves, and his voice is heard on tape and record. Books, hats, and shirts and posters are being manufactured all over America and the world, for that matter, to keep black youth from ever realizing that the law had actually come from the east to the west to raise them in the person of the Master Farrakhan Muhammad, to whom all praises are due forever, and that he, Allah, has raised one messenger to raise a nation of oppressed people here in the living hells of North America and around the world. Anyone that dares to speak out against the false image is considered an enemy to the black nation. They are killed by ostracism, banished from the masses of the 95%, the rich and mentally dead. Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. The entire black nation suffered at the spiritual insurrection and overthrow of our government. The private soldiers and chief ministers, the wealthy and famous, and poor and unknown, those in society and those in county, state, and federal prisons around the country have and are suffering from the works of the second beast of Revelation, chapter 13. Messenger Elijah Muhammad preached the fall of America and used the truth to cause it. Wallace D preached the fall of the Nation of Islam and used falsehood to cause it. There are few who stood firm, and there are few who even sought to rebuild the fallen nation of Islam. Wallace D was so deep, I remember one time he explained that if America would fall, he would run outside and catch it. With that, fam, I'm going to have to stop right there. You know what I mean? I pray within and I work without that you return to the original, divine, and direct teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Nation of Islam will never fall again, but you individually can fall tomorrow. the struggle continues. Assalamu alaikum. Peace, God.